Welcome to the Childcare Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you're a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sacoccio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Childcare Director's Chair.
Infant toddler educators.
So tell folks a little bit about yourself and how you came into the field.
Sure. So I started actually working as a childcare assistant in a multi-age group program a long time ago, and then advanced to an assistant director, to a director, and then moved into the childcare resource and referral organization profession. And now I am president of the Coalition of Infant Toddler Educators, as well as a researcher at Georgia State University.
What inspired you to enter the field?
Oh, goodness. So I would say that it was probably innate. Simon Sinek comes to mind when he talks about finding your why. And he says that your why is developed in your mid-teens. So I imagine at that point, something occurred, likely in my family dynamic, that inspired me to want to help. But what kept me in this industry and profession really was I was working at the child care center, and a parent came in. She had been a stay-at-home mom and now needed to return to the workforce for her third child. And she had dropped him off, and there was separation anxiety, and he was crying, and I held him and rocked him, and she left. And at the end of the school year, she came back to me and she said, "Rebecca, that day I was driving out of the parking lot and I turned to leave and I was crying and I couldn't do it. And I came back and I looked in the window and I saw you rocking him and I knew he'd be okay," right? And it gets me choked up today, because that's why I do what I do and continue to work toward improving early care and education, and in particular, the infant and toddler workforce.
What you're talking about is very real. So I'm one of those parents. I ended up quitting my job. I used to self-work. I quit my job because I had so much anxiety about leaving my child with people I didn't know. So I went to go work at the child care center 27 years ago. Now I own it. Long story, but yes, it's a very real feeling that overcomes parents when they drop off their children.
Yeah, well, and when you think about it, especially so you have a mom who's postpartum, right, who just has this baby. And we're a stranger to this family, right? Other than a one-time interview where they come in to see, but you're leaving their most precious part, yes, right, the part of their heart, right, behind to somebody who they don't know, and trusting that their child's going to be okay. And so, I just have this innate desire to want to be able to be support families and children. And
the folks that work with infants and toddlers are such special people. I always call my toddler teachers my magical unicorns. I'm like, everybody comes in for the job interview. I want to rock the babies. I want to teach preschool. Hardly anybody comes in and goes, I want to be the toddler teacher. A toddler teacher, but hardly ever does that happen. So thank you for investing into those educators.
Absolutely.
Why are you here today? What about this conference? Why are you here? What brings you here?
So early in my career, njaeyc in particular, I remember going to these conferences, right? And it was like the one place that I could get professional development specifically to the work that I was doing. And interesting, because they're celebrating their 80th anniversary. And I recall when I was first starting out, seeing Helen Moscato standing up there and being inspired by her and Lorraine Cook, and thinking, I want to be them someday, or be like them someday in a leadership role in the field. And so that's always been a sort of North Star for me. Yeah. And so I am honored that this is the third conference I'm able to present at for njaeyc. and in particular with a focus on infant toddler development.
Most excited to share or learn or experience at today's event, besides being on our podcast?
Sure, of course. No, this is so, the energy here is phenomenal. Yes. And so my breakout session is on exposure to media, especially in infants and toddlers, and how it impacts development. And I'm excited to share it because I think people take for granted how infants and toddlers learn, right? That background noise maybe is not going to have an impact, and we learn, science is telling us that it does. And so understanding how infants and toddlers learn and how to be better consumers about media and how to make choices that are intentional about what we're exposing very young children to at an early time.
Yeah. We were talking about toddlers on the way down. We had a long ride from Rhode Island. We were talking about just the changes that we've seen in a short time, 5-6 years of with our toddlers, particularly.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most rapid time of brain development, right? Like birth to 3 is where this is so much development is occurring. And there was a research study out of the Department of Pediatrics of New York, NYU Medical Center. And it was the first longitudinal study that looked at exposure to media with 6-month-olds to 14-month-olds. And in that short period of time, children who were exposed to around 2 hours of media at 6 months, there was adverse developmental effects shown at 14 months. Yeah. It's a real short window. So we want to be mindful of what kids are seeing and being exposed to.
Early education is evolving so quickly. From your perspective, what are some of the biggest shifts or innovations that we're seeing right now?
So I'm going to stick with the media theme, right? Because that's huge difference from when I was a child. We had one television in our home, right? And I was the remote, right? Like, yes, the young one goes up and changes the channel, right? So that shifted dramatically, right? That we have multiple televisions, iPads, iPhones, smartphones, devices, technology in classrooms. And some of it, there's positive too, absolutely. But it's the frequency, the duration, and the intensity, right? So what used to only be available in the home is now available at the grocery store and in the car and at the restaurant and at childcare. So I think that's a big change. The type of media that's available, the varieties of media that's available, and how frequently everything is available. Even after the pandemic, I mean, we had moved to online virtual learning for a period of time too, right? So there was another level of exposure. And on the positive side, hey, we can FaceTime with family members, right, who are living in a different state. So how do we do that responsible?
Right now, who might be new into the profession or consider entering? What piece of advice or what message would you like to share about the importance of the impact that we're doing?
I think a career in early childhood, and I'm going to say specifically in infant and toddler care, right, is probably the most impactful career you can have. We like to call infant and toddler educators brain architects, right? Because you are laying the foundation for lifelong learning. You can prevent so many adverse effects if we can just have high quality education in those first 3 years. Cognitive development, physical development, we can reduce things like obesity and high blood pressure and diabetes if we start early. We can build brains in a way that they have high executive function and capacity to develop cognitively in a way that I don't think any other career or profession can do. And so I think if you're looking to make a difference, a true difference in our society, in your community, and in the life of a child or a family, a career in early childhood education is the place to be.
Anything that you would like to leave the listeners with that I didn't ask?
Oh, that one caught me off guard. I would say that, if you have an interest or a passion, follow it. Stay true to your why, to go back to Simon Sinek's piece, right? Because I think when you have joy in the work that you do it your best.
Okay, this is the most important question I'm going to ask you of all the interviews.
Okay.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
I am a plain vanilla kind of girl. Keep it simple.
If folks want to connect with you, where can they find more information about?
They can email me at president@njaeyc.org or visit our website, njaeyc.org.
Thank you so much for being on the Childcare Director's Chair podcast.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Childcare Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sakosio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.